Guys, welcome back to another PSGL video on the channel. Today we have round 4 in Qatar, and this is the first proper league race I've ever done on this game with Qatar. Like, I've not done an official league race, so this is the first, and it just happens to be in PSGL. But I have raced a league race here before. It was an unofficial pre-season race, like maybe a week after the game came out, and I did pretty well there. I actually won in the UFRL pre-season race. So coming into this race, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can at least have good race pace, because I'm not... A lot of the tracks in this game, I've not had that great race pace on, but in this track, I feel like everyone's going to be doing the same strategies, because it's the only one that works. Hard medium is the only strategy that works in this game, or at least for this track. Right? Like, if you do softs, they're gonna die. They're gonna fall off a cliff. There's nothing you can do with that. You can't get a very fast race pace in. But if everyone's on the same pace, then I'm gonna have... Well, if everyone's on the same strategy, I'm gonna have to have the faster pace to win. So you have to just win on raw pace, which I like. I prefer that over a strategy game, unless I'm like completely out of the running and there's not much I can do about getting back into the race. Like, I'd need a safety car or my strategy to help pull me back into contention. But as we come around the final corner, it's been a solid lap, like a very good banker. Like, this is a good reference point to go off of for all the rest of my other 2 laps, because I only plan to do 2 laps as well as this, so 3 laps overall. But yeah, we go 3rd fastest out of 9 people that set a lap.
Maybe I do have
As
a
Caden
chance
Conway
without
goes 5th, which I always thought he would go higher because he's really fast. He's in the championship fight. So that gave me a lot of confidence when I go into my 2nd lap right now. Only trying to improve on what my last one was, see how much I can get. Maybe a 10th. I'd take a 10th, put me in contention for a top 3, maybe even a top 5 after everyone's set a lap, because there's a lot of fast people that haven't set a lap. So just needing to wait and see what they do, as we're only slightly up through the first corner. Nice on the power, and we are half a tenth up out of turns 1 and 2. Up into the fast double right, nice on the power, again chucking it in. And now we're nearly a 10th up as we go into the slowest corner on the track. As we go a bit deep there, it's not ideal, but we're still up about 8 hundredths. And as we put it through here, the long right-hander, we are nearly 2 tenths up, which is what we can ask for as Zach sets a 121 flat and goes pole. As we nearly invalidated there, we're a little bit shaky on the exit, and nearly, when trying to correct, I nearly went off, which wouldn't have been nice, as we are 2.5 tenths up right now. Set a purple middle sector. We are just rapid through the middle, even though we went a bit deep into the slow hairpin. But nice on the power, keeping it basically flat through that corner. And now off the final corner, losing a bit of time, and then the deploy is used on our ERS, and we just start to tumble our time down maybe 300ths. So 5th place overall, 400ths off 4th place. So going into the final lap, there's a lot of promise. Like, there's a lot that we can do. We can improve, as we now see that we are 8th.
close though.
Like, I feel like if I'm an 8th, I don't have to gain that much, but I think I could. As you can just hear me blabbering on then
2.5
about
tenths.
how I think that I can get into a decent spot, maybe a top 5 finish. But as we go on to the final lap, we just cut halfway through. We're down. It's not been a great first sector. We're still down a little bit. And then one final attempt to gain time, we cut the corner. Just felt like I had to chuck it in. There was nothing to lose. I wasn't going to gain much as Linus spins out on his last lap. And we go into the pits and we finish in 10th, which out of 15 people, 10th isn't ideal. And we had a lot more promise to get a top 5, in my opinion, but
That's not even like
just
a
unfortunately
big gap,
couldn't get it all
but
together
in Qatar, that's
in time.
a lot.
But as we go to the start of the race, if you hear me talking about something being bad, it's because I'm the host of this lobby, and I've never hosted a lobby before, and I thought that I left the formation lap on. but we hadn't, so we got away with it. And 5 red lights and away we go. We get a better start than Josh. Start to pull alongside, use our battery, seeing if we can defend from Leo on the inside, which we can. We just try and hold it around the inside. See what we can do. It's 3 wide, I think. And I just back out of it a little bit here with Josh because he's on the fresh soft tyres. They are obviously going to be a lot faster than the hards, at least for the first lap or two. Then he should start to fall off. Like, the softs are not a good race tyre. So I instantly just see him as not a threat to the race if I can keep everything clean. As we go a little bit wide, we just lock up a bit the rears on the curb. So we get our first warning already, which is not ideal because this track, for it being so fast, you don't want to be picking up warnings. As Leo has a massive moment and he spins off into the gravel. He is now out of contention unless there's a safety car that brings him back into it. But right now, after the first lap, we are down 1 position, which isn't ideal, but I'm not really complaining. It's a long race. There's quite a few varying strategies. So we're just going to have to see what we can do with what we've got. Just need to try and put ourselves into a rhythm and see if we can catch. As Ducore goes for a move on Caden, they touch, which is a bit of aggressive driving there, but Ducore is Damon from the previous video. So Damon is a bit forceful getting past there, but he's on the fresher tyres. He's looking to get as far ahead as he can, capitalise on the fact that a lot of the hard runners aren't going to be that quick yet. So just trying to tuck into a nice little groove, see what we can get out of this now. And just, yeah, there's a nice train forming as well, like from 1st to 11th, well, 1st to 13th, just 1st to 14th, everyone is in a train. As Damon goes wide and Caden's looking to pounce, but he doesn't get a better exit. As Damon gets the wider line, manages to sneak through, get a better exit. As Caden is like getting very frustrated right now. He's looking to get a move as he's just getting held up by Damon, which isn't ideal for him in his race. He's obviously looking to get ahead and push on and see what he can get out of this as soon as possible. As we cut, never mind, we don't cut. My editing was a bit wrong there. But just sticking behind, seeing what can happen. Caden misses his apex. We get a better exit, but just not looking to make an overtake yet. We really need to manage our ERS in this race, which I think I did really well. But just use a little bit, because you don't gain any ERS. Like, over a full lap, you won't gain anything or lose anything. So you can't really use a little bit of ERS to stay neutral and stay even on ERS. It's a very unforgiving circuit with ERS. So we just need to try and save and just, again, like I've said this a few times already, but we just need to stay in the groove, stay in the train. Because right now, I'm enjoying this. Because everyone is close together. Caden's missing apexes. Just so, I'm in a good position here. Because he's not getting great exits as we get a little bit of a lock on the rear, but nothing too major. Nothing that really affects my race. But yeah, we just need to see if we can capitalise on Caden's mistakes, because he's, like I said a second ago, he's getting frustrated staying behind Damon right now. Because he is in a championship fight. As you can see him getting really close to Damon right now, trying to get a good exit, and he goes up the inside, sends it up, he goes a little bit deep. There's a nice bit of racing there, but Damon keeps his line. We are trying to see if we can capitalise on a mistake here. As Damon goes wide, touches Caden off, and Caden gets a penalty for 3 seconds on warnings as he goes wide again. And we're just needing to try and capitalise, see if we can get an overtake in here, because all this is really holding us up here. As they are starting to lose DRS to the group ahead. As they go wide here, they touch again. We try and stay up the inside. With very high speed, dangerous. Caden backs out. And we get past into P10. As right now, I believe, Caden goes in and retires. And that is the last race Caden is doing in this league, as he left the server, right now. As we go for an overtake, we use our ERS. DRS is open, and we need to try and get into Josh's DRS now, as his soft should be falling off quite a lot. So we just need to like capitalize on this, see what we can get. As I believe Zach spun off just then, so that's another free position. So we're now up into P8 as Josh is flashing. He has not managed his ERS well, and he goes wide, trying not to get a warning. I don't think he does there. But we now need to get past him because we have all the ERS to play with, and he has none. So I see this as a prime opportunity to get an overtake in. But I don't think I do. Like, watching it back, I'm not sure why I didn't go for a move there. I stick behind for a few more laps, which in hindsight wasn't a very smart play, but didn't really ruin our race too much. So just sticking behind for an extra lap. As we move on to the end of that lap, do I go for a move this time? I'm a lot closer, getting better exits, but I don't have the straight line speed. My setup is mainly set for the middle sectors, or just everywhere else really. As we open the ERS a lot, and now we do go for a move up the main straight. We do move to the inside, cancel our ERS, and nicely up into P7 to try and set off and get back into the train of Bath and Venge and everyone ahead up into P1. Like, that is a crucial move for us. From starting P10, end of lap 1, we're down in P11. These are crucial moves. We really needed to get these done. As we move on to the end of lap 10, beginning of lap 11, DRS is open. Venge is up there defending from Champ, or trying to overtake Champ.
No, I'd rather over.
And I think he does, yeah. Venge gets in front of Champ. And now they're going for a switchback, just seeing if we can pick up scraps, as Venge is low on ERS, and they're holding us up, or they're holding each other up, which eventually will hold me up in the grand scheme of things, as we're trying to stay in the nice train. But Champ and Venge squabbling is not ideal for us, as we get a better exit than Bath, and we go and send it up the inside into the hairpin. Nicely round, he backs out and we get the good exit, and we're up into P6 now on the same strategy as everyone, or as Bath at least. Nice move done. I'm feeling so good on these tyres right now. My confidence is through the roof, making overtakes every other lap. We have so much pace. It is unbelievable. And let's just have a little bit of a snap there. Just breathing a sigh of relief there, because that was getting me a bit scared. Don't want to be spinning out like this after my amazing start. After my good first stint anyway. As up ahead, Tribras and Venge are having a fight. They're both flashing, they just had a bit of contact there. We're looking to see if we'll be able to pick up any scraps, so trying to get everything neat and tidy through turns 1 and 2. As they're still, Venge gets past, as, I don't know, I think that's just raw pace. I was going to say because they're on a different strategy, but they're not. As we're just getting back into the train, seeing what we can do. Just have to take a drink there because my mouth's getting really dry with the commentating, just non-stop. But yeah, until lap 13, getting round. Jerem pit the lap before, I forgot to bring that up. Jerem actually pit, so he's a bit far back, but as you see in sector 1, there's a yellow flag, someone spins off, broke their front wing, and now there's a virtual safety car. Now this is where the race completely changes, as the race is now thrown up, like, it's thrown up in the air, like nothing is now certain with the strategy. As now everyone seems to box, but I don't think it's time yet, because it's perfect for all the medium hard runners. But I'm like a hard runner, so I don't think that I'll be able to last 16 laps on medium tyres from now, with any good pace anyway. And I'm not that skilled at the game, so I'm not certain that I'm going to be able to last with nearly like 80% mediums or whatever it'll be at the end. So I was kind of hoping that the race would like start again soon, like right now, for example. I thought the VSC would end really quickly and I'd not lose as much time. But no, there's a lot of the people that just get a completely free pit stop over me.
That's really ruined me.
Which is a big shame, because I was really enjoying this race. But I think it was going to go really well for me. As we see now, it just ends. And the time says, the gap between me and second place says it's 18 seconds, but it's only falling. And it ends up being a 16-second gap between me and him, and the average pit loss is around 24 seconds. So I would come out, if I were to box right now, maybe 10 seconds behind first, but as we move here to the end of lap 16, this is now when I decide to box, which was my original box lap. But right now I should be coming out 8 seconds behind fifth place, which it's a real shame, but I do think that come the end of the race I will have the fresher tyres and I'll be able to have a good enough advantage on everyone else that it's not a bigger deal, or I'd be able to at least still salvage maybe a P4 or a P6, which from 10th, you know, I'm not going to complain about at all. So, you know, so I'm just hoping that I come out ahead of Linus and Josh behind, because that would really slow us down. As you see them, we're just in front. We managed to make it out. Need to see if I can now hold it out on my fresh tyres and see how quickly I can get away. As Damon's car that he retired in the pit lane nearly hits me, but luckily it ghosted in time. So nearly such a sad ending to what could have been such a promising race, but no, we lived to fight another lap. As we are now just trying to keep ahead of Linus, as it would slow us down a lot if they got us, but we have the 3 4-lap pressure tyres, so we managed to pull away quite easily. And as we get onto lap 20, we cut ahead a few laps, maybe 3 laps. You can see the gap between me and 6th is 3 seconds. So we have managed to get into the penalty window of Jerem, and we are ever so gaining on Bath Destroyer as well in 5th, which is now looking like a realistic goal, is to mess up the strategy, but still manage to catch up and maybe get 5th place in the end. As you can just see, the time is tumbling so much, his tyres are already falling off. As we cut on to the end of lap 21, start of lap 22, we are a second up on both 5th and 6th place. So this race is looking so much more promising. Every lap, it's looking like I'm going to pull a good result here, which is just incredible considering I completely messed up the strategy. As we're now on to the start of lap 25, we're so close to P5. As Jerem goes for a move, his tyres are starting to get fired up. He gets past Bath in 6th now, and we are just looking to gain, so we need to gain 2.5 seconds in 4 laps on Bath's worn mediums. So, like, it should be ending well for us. This is looking like it's a promising race in the end, after what looked so down, or like what looked so bad after the VSC mistake. Like, it's all looking like it's going to end up being worth it. As we can see that amazing transition onto lap 27, now we have fully closed in to Bath and Jerem, as Bath ended up taking off 5th place from him. And we are just gaining so much. Now this is really where we need to hope that my ERS save has been worth it, as we can't see that they are both flashing ahead of us, but I just have a feeling that they are on really low ERS, maybe less than 15%, same as me. But I've got the fresh tyres, you can see me gaining on Jerem. Just, it's so amazing, the fresh tyre advantage in this game. Like, it's so nice. As we are open the ERS and DRS, and we get a beautiful slipstream on Jerem, boosts us forward, and we are now looking to attack Bath Destroyer. As we look to the outside, he backs off to try and let us through, maybe to get DRS on the last lap. We hang it round, but I think that was a mistake, because we now have the fresh tyres to pull a gap of 1 second and get away from him in time. So we are now up into P5 after what looked like such an abysmal mistake, but we manage to make it all worth it. As we are just gaining in every braking zone, in every corner, we are just pulling away in every exit. See, we just gained 2.5 tenths off that one exit. Like, it's just looking more and more likely that we will hold out this P5, which is obviously incredible. But we're just pushing on. They are fighting behind. They're scrapping for position. It's looking like Bath is going to get P6 because of the 3 seconds. So even if Jerem does end up overtaking, it shouldn't matter too much to him. As we're coming around the final few corners to begin the last lap. As even on this lap, we are still like gaining on P4 and the 3 who are having a good battle there. But as we pull onto the last lap, I see my fuel start to flash in the bottom and I panic and I'm down on fuel. I have underfueled and not noticed until the very last lap where you can do basically nothing about it. I've completely forgotten about the fuel. I thought I'd overfueled like a lot, at least enough to get me to the end comfortably. But now I'm gonna have to start doing a little bit of lift and coast just to try and see if I can even keep speed to the line. Because I'm pulling a lot of a gap here on P6 and 7, but will it be enough? Because I will end up going into low fuel mode, no doubt about it. It's just about how soon I do go into low fuel mode, and it completely slows me down. As you see me doing a bit of a lift there.
I just got
Like, how have I let this happen? I've completely forgotten about the fuel. That just wasn't one of my concerns. And it's just, it's a mistake. I'm going to know for the next race in Qatar, because I've got a UFRL race on Monday. So I should have that video up, because I'm feeling confident about that one. But as we're coming through the last few corners, we have hit low fuel mode right now, and we are so much slower than I thought we'd be. I thought I'd be able to at least keep it in 6th gear, but we're trying to burn our ERS just to see if we can get a little bit more speed, but it's looking so tragic. We are going to get overtaken by Jerem and Bath Destroyer. But Bath Destroyer goes into low fuel mode as well, and we have the slowest drag race to the line you will ever see, and he gets us. But we still managed to get Jerem because of his 3-second penalty. So in the end, we do get P6 and have something I've never seen before. I've never seen that happen in a competitive league race where both people have a slow drag race to the line on no fuel. Like I was going to be annoyed about it because I ran out of fuel, but the fact that he also ran out of fuel lightened my mood a bit, and I'm not too bothered about finishing P6, which is a great result from 10th considering I at the time seemingly messed up the VSC. But yeah, that's a very good race. Jamie takes the win. He takes pole, the win, and the fastest lap to maximise points. But yeah, no, that's just a beautiful race. And I'll see you all next week for Austria, where I don't know what will happen there, to be honest. But hopefully we can manage to I don't know, how do I say this? I hope that I can pull closer to P4 in the championship, because right now I'm P6 and I'm only 6 or 8 points off of P4. So I'm in my own little championship battle here to try and see if I can pick up best of the rest, as it seems as the top 3 are all in a championship battle until at least until Caden left, because he just rage quit the league mid-race. Didn't cover that much in the voiceover, or at least as it happened. But that's just quite funny to me. Like, he's just couldn't get past, and then ended up rage quitting the league. But yeah, that's about all that is for this video, and I'll see you guys next week for Austria. See ya.